Hello, hello, and happy almost Sagittarius season, Sagittarius. So, before we get into your cards, what I am hearing from Spirit, and I want to ask you, hear me out, humor me. Do a little exercise for your solar return, your birthday coming up. And even if you are, maybe you're a Sagittarius rising or you're a Sagittarius moon and you're not about to have a birthday, I still encourage you to do this exercise because it wouldn't have come through if it wasn't for everybody. So take a piece of paper and write down, this year I want to experience more of, and write some things down. Or you could create like a mood board if that's more your thing, and maybe images come through for you. And second, and just as important, this year I want to do less of, fill in the blank. Talking to people that I don't actually want to talk to. Whatever literally comes up for you. Now, step 3, final step, put that list somewhere prominent enough that you can actually look at it every day and be keeping track of whether you're doing less of and doing more of. You know what I'm saying? And taking opportunities to invite more of what you're asking for in your life. It sounds kind of silly, but writing things down is the first form of manifestation. Something that was just an idea, intangible, nobody could have known about it or anything like that. You take it and you put it onto paper. It's step 1 of making it real. And here's a reminder that every invention, every place that you see, everything that you eat was once upon a time a fantasy. So let's not shit on things that start out as like, I wish. Okay. Not that I expect that from my Sagittarians. I'm just saying lots of us have, if we have Sagittarius placements, we more than likely have some Scorpio and or some Capricorn. So might be a little tendency to shit on fantasy. You tell me. Okay. All right. Let's get into some cards, Sag. Let's go. We are in mid-November, Spirit. We want to know what you want to share with Sagittarius. The back half of November, we are entering Sagittarius season, exiting Scorpio. The fire is about to be lit. Hello, fellow kids. What does Sagittarius need to know, Spirit, for their highest good? What's happening? What themes, what energies are showing up at this moment in their lives, Spirit? And what do you want to make them aware of? How to use it, how to understand it, alchemize it into their highest good, their joy, ease, abundance, fulfillment. Please, Spirit, what do you want to share with Sagittarius in mid-November? Their highest good. All right. Perfect. Sag, 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 Sag. Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Moon, Sagittarius Rising and Dominant People, 9th House Dominant People. What is showing up for them, Spirit? What do you want them to know to make the best use of it? Wow. Hey. Wow. Okay, we officially need one more. What do I want more of? What do I want less of? Spirit, what comes after Sagittarius is able to let go of and properly mourn the past and the old way? What comes up after? That Queen of Cups, I swear. So Sagittarius, I spend time before I ever turn on the camera talking to Spirit about each sign, really dialing in, meditating, feeling what comes up, hearing what comes up. And I shuffle the cards a whole bunch before we even get on here. I know, we could talk about how long I do it on here. We're not gonna. The Queen of Cups jumped out 3 times. while I was doing my pre-shuffle and prayer. So we're really gonna, what do we call that? Tripling, quadrupling down? That's what we're gonna call that. Okay, so you are showing up as the Death card. I really like this version of the Emissary of Death. Clock the calf, the mid-calf Doc Martens, those boots. You are putting some things to an end. It's kind of, it really resonates with what what Spirit said about making a list of I want more of and I want less of. So you are closing doors and you have changed. You have gone through a fundamental transformation, and it's about time to start adjusting and pruning your outer world to match your inner world. So what have you learned? Spirit is saying it is always painful, growing pains, right? It's painful to grow, it's painful to change, because inevitably, even parts of our lives that we're happy to leave behind, there are certain aspects that we miss. What Spirit is saying right now is like, I'm sure Beyonce misses being able to walk into a fucking corner store. You know what I mean? It's not like she would trade the millions or the fame necessarily, I don't know. But I'm sure she wishes she could go to the movies once in a while, or talk to people without having them go, "Ugh." So, just to say that there is letting go, but it is not a negative thing. Not entirely. Six of Wands is sitting as the heart of the matter, showing up and being seen and received in the world in a way that you are delighted by, and vice versa. The world is delighted to receive you and to receive your talents. So I feel like you need to prune some things away, because right now, like, you are doing a little too much. Some of you might be feeling quite exhausted. And if you're not feeling it yet, the Ten of Wands is sitting there in the situation arising, the situation that is evolving out of your current decisions. Right now, it looks like you might be, again, team do too much. Like, I can do all of it. I can do every single thing, every part of it, and I can do it all at once, and that's not in any way going to slow my progress or make me miss any little small things that I should have been catching along the way. Take your time. Take your time. You don't need to rush, and you don't need to do it all at once. Okay? And actually, I think taking your time would serve you on multiple levels, because you're going to want to be clocking how you feel as you work toward whatever this is that you were trying to accomplish. And I do want to say accomplish. It feels like this is related to like earthly things, making money, meeting goals, getting certain outcomes. Six of Wands, that's an outcome, right? Like, hail the conquering hero / heroine. Everybody like, oh my God, we see you. You really fucking did that. So to get there, you don't want a 10 of Wands, and then end up at the parade feeling 10 of Wands. Like, it's like arriving at a surprise party after like being on a 26-hour flight. No, it's not the time. Okay, so what can you prune? What do you want to prune away? We could have just started with Spirit's channeled message, because that's how this always works. What could you prune away? And always checking in with how you feel. Let's talk about why. You've got the moon sitting in your short-term future, and then over here in your long-term future, Five of Cups clarified by Queen of Cups. We have to be able to metabolize things in order to move on. It's like digesting food and undigested food, and just carrying something around. Forgive how visceral this is about to get, but like, undigested food sitting around in your body, just decaying, just rotting. It's like, I'm not even getting nutrients from this. It's like it's actively working against me. So it feels, Sagittarius, that for some of you there may be a loss, a disappointment, that you need to actively engage with and grieve. And for some of you, this is from way back. If you're new here, I'm an intuitive reader, so I'm just reporting what Spirit says, okay? This does not necessarily apply to all Sagittarians, but it certainly speaks to some of you where Spirit wouldn't say it. For some of you, this loss is really from like a while back. whether that's a few years or many decades, there is some needing to turn around and face the change that has happened. And again, even if you love your life and even if you've moved in a really positive direction, and even if you're like, I'm glad that it all worked out that way, even though that was really tough because I'm here now. That can all be true, and we can still have kind of like unacknowledged grief, or we may spend an inordinate amount of time looking backward that could be slowing us down or even just draining our energy. So seeing the Queen of Cups next to that Five of Cups makes me think, A, just take really good, kind, gentle, slow-paced care of yourself. And if you know for a fact that you are not that great at doing that, then enlist someone, whether that's a friend, a parent. And I feel that for some of you, that that's very possible, that there's somebody that you know that's like very emotionally mature, that you can consult and let reflect back to you what they see and what they notice. And for others of you, maybe you would benefit from engaging a professional Queen of Cups, whatever therapist, spiritual advisor, somebody that you trust to, again, reflect the truth and perhaps a deeper truth that you haven't been able to see because you're too close to the case. It's true for all of us, okay? So that could be beneficial to you if you know that you are not that great at self soothing and self nurturing and self reflecting. Spirit is saying something really deep right now, which is, you know, that memories live in our bodies. And that is something that the moon represents. If you look at the figure that is in the water that looks shadowy and kind of scary, that is creeping up out of the water toward these people who are wearing their masks. If we don't turn and engage with our past on purpose, sometimes it'll sneak up behind us and snatch our mask off and leave us feeling like totally naked and vulnerable. And maybe that happened to some of you, where it's like, I should be fine. You know, like my parent died a decade ago or more or whatever, or I was divorced and I've moved on, and then, oh no, here comes this grief. Don't hide from it. Turn around and look at it, engage with it, see it for what it really is, and then it will transform into something newer, healthier, more integrated with you. Endings and celebrations. Don't push yourself so hard. Don't set your expectations of yourself so high that you disappoint yourself inevitably. That's something else that I'm hearing. And I'm just saying, meaning like putting a million things on your plate and then being like, look at that, I didn't finish my million things today. Like, well, yeah, bitch, you put a million things on your to-do list for like an 8 or 10 hour day. Like, let's not do this to ourselves. Again, get with the Queen of Cups if you need some assistance to like make proper sense of that. And here's some comfort. The world sees you doing great. The world sees you doing great. Now, how are you doing in here? Let's prioritize and care for that. Everything else will do better for it, okay? Do less. Mwah. Sending you much, much love, Sagittarius. If you feel like sharing, let me know. I always love hearing from you. I appreciate you being here, and I hope I get to read you in December. Till then, bye, Sag.